All right,
Okay.
of course, it's time now to take a look at the front pages of the Nigerian newspaper. So let us know what exactly is going on. Let's now bring in...
And there's quite a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Communication strategist, Dotun Odion, who is here in the studios with us to take a look at the front pages. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
That's good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend.
Fantastic weekend.
All right, let's start off with the Daily Trust. NJC holds emergency meeting over Ononye. Of course, that's the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria. Senate reconvenes as Buhari hosts APC senators. Ononye not removed. Presidency tells US, the UK, and of course the EU. Yes, he's not removed. He's only been suspended. Talking to the three friends. That's how they've been referred to, these three nations.
Yes.
Okay, so...
okay, really, I hate it when we cannot actually call a spade what it is. And what the federal government has been able to do, or the executive arm has been able to do, is to have removed him. The word, we can continue to play on words and use semantics here and there, but that is the reality of what is on ground as we speak. Now, not to delve into...
Are you saying if investigations find that the suspended CJN is not culpable or he's not liable to the allegations that have been raised, that there are the chances that he can actually, that he will not be brought back?
The man has actually admitted not declaring some of his assets.
Yes.
So I wonder what investigation you're talking about. You see, the only thing is that because we've had cases like this and we continue to lay bad precedents here and there, if when President Muhammadu Buhari came on board, if this is how he had started his government, everybody will have known. In fact, he will have got more supporters. But he came, he had 2 weeks opportunity of fame. And NEPA was fixing itself, PACN, everything was working the first 2 weeks. Because people never knew how this man is going to run his government. But at that point in time, the government was seemingly sleepy.
Do we have a clear picture now?
But now, if some weeks to election, we're having some of these movie-like movements, then you continue to ask yourself questions as to what has the government been doing before. We'll not say because somebody did it and we have to do it. Everybody knows that something was actually fishy. If you know the amount of money that was said to be forgotten in one account, if you see the number of assets that has been traced to him, everybody knows this.
But those who are raising issues are saying, look, it's not even really about the substance of the case here. It is the process.
The procedure.
Or the procedure, if you like.
Of trying to remove the CJ. That is the question.
That is the procedure. That's what I'm talking about. If we cannot say, okay, everybody now, either we like it or not, we know that, something is actually fishy in the entire judiciary. And it is also ironic to tell you that if you do not fix the corruption in judiciary, you cannot fix corruption anywhere.
All right, moving on. 2019, no room for rigging. Atiku tells Buhari. Of course, President Buhari has said that this election will not be a do-or-die affair for him. If he, peradventure loses,
I totally believe
do the Jonathan
way. I totally believe him. I totally believe that the president is not going to be a do-or-die person or the entire process. I totally believe. But my problem has always been, it's not the man at the helm of affairs. My problem has always been those who benefit from the process of governance, who want to do anything and everything. Buhari is 76. He doesn't have anything to lose at the end of the day. He has seen the good days of Nigeria. He has benefited from the Nigeria system. So I doubt whether he's going to... I totally believe that he will not make the election do or die affair. He should talk to the people in his government. 144
election observers gets INEC's nod. FG to exclude AMCON debtors from government business. ASU may end strike this week. Well, it's the federal government that's actually optimistic that that's likely to happen. We're not hearing anything definite from ASU yet. Gunmen kidnapped 7 at football viewing center in Zamfara and 108 firms to supply meters directly to homes and businesses. Of course, they've just been licensed.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. And of course, the Punch leads with the same story on Nohen to challenge suspension in court. This apparently wasn't, this is not news to us.
You see, I want him to go to court if he so desires. But the fact is that I doubt whether an executive arm of government that cannot wait for due process would be willing to obey any court order.
All right, moving on to other
All right.
stories.
Well, it's got riders here saying Buhari invites APC senators to fila over CJN's suspension, and the CUPP, of course, is alleging that the ruling party is about to bribe, the National Assembly members, to stall, this whole process.
You see, that's why I laid emphasis on style of governance. If you see, because either we like it or not, many of the offenses committed are not democratic in nature. So people just commit offense. Corruption is not democratic. People just put their hands into the cookie jar and take out money. So most of the times too, if you want to look at it from another angle, you may think that the way to deal with it is not democratic. Should not be totally democratic if you want to solve the problem. But again, since you say you are a democratic person,
can you do a good thing in a bad way?
Of course, we have seen one or two ways when good things, especially if you are a change maker and you are a radical change maker. If you look at philosophy, all the radical change makers are not a normal procedural guys. They don't get to sit down and wait for all the processes. But what I'm saying is that this seems to be the fastest thing we have ever seen in this government, and it's bringing out a lot of suspicions.
All right, let's move to another story now on the top of the Punch newspaper. As you see on your screen there, police retire Deputy Inspectors General.
This is not the first time it's been happening. It's almost becoming a norm that once the president appoints somebody that is lower in ranks, the people above him have to retire. But again, if you look at the entire process, if not because we are Africans, it should not have been like that. But you discover that in Africa, once you bring somebody, even in organizations that are not military, that are not paramilitary, if you bring somebody from within the crowd to come and be a manager, you discover that the people continue to conspire and they don't want him to succeed in so many cases. If not, if the government has spent money to train some of these people, they have not given their best to the system yet because they've not attained the retirement age. There's logic in setting the retirement age at 60. It shows that you still have something to give to the system. So these people have not given what they're supposed to give to the system.
And like you said, when it's now the norm, imagine before the former IG was removed, the same situation. We have the same situation. And just like what you said, how is it costing Nigeria when it comes to policing and the need for the expertise or, and experience of those people?
Experience of the people is costing us a lot because before you can build another person now, perhaps from the level of a commissioner, these people will have gone to training, exchange programs
both within and outside the country.
Within and outside the country. And I doubt whether they've totally given what they have. Then again, I doubt whether it's even an issue of competence. I think it's more of trust and mistrust because some of these people are competent. Why do you have to look inside before you get somebody? I totally doubt because I've read what I did was immediately they appointed him. I knew this was going to happen. So I started reading about some of the DIGs and other that may likely go. And I felt that these people, to a certain extent, are also qualified, competent.
All right, from the all right, you take a look at the Vanguard now.
Okay, to the Vanguard. Onongen, NJC, NBA call emergency meetings. Neither Onongen nor acting CJN Tanko Ibrahim will preside at NJC. Senate cuts short recess, convenes plenary tomorrow. It's an offense, says Ikmowe. Pandef urges boycott of courts as Niger Delta agitators back Buhari on CJN suspension. Of course, we're going to be talking about this CJN drama, further in the course of the show. PDP, CUPP raise alarm over plots to bribe lawmakers to destabilize National Assembly leadership. And what else do we have? $1.3 billion, that's at the bottom column there of the Vanguard. $1.3 billion deep sea port in Ondo will create 20,000 jobs, according to Akeredolu. All right, at least we're hearing something about governance right now. Chief of Army Staff reads Riot Act to military personnel over election. Says violators of electoral laws will face Armed Forces Act.
You see, we should not be tired of talking about the welfare of some of these military guys before we begin to think about how we want to punish them. Many of them are going through a lot and the camera, the cameras are not on them, their welfare and all other. The complaint has always been they actually turn their back, they run away from Boko Haram, but nobody is laying emphasis on their welfare. So I think that's also important. Then let me also quickly talk about the Ondo State story, because it's a story that actually concerns me. You see, some years back, we had what we call the Olokola free trade zone. The government raised the hope of the people that this is going to create certain jobs and all that. But as we speak now, nothing like that.
Are you saying not even one job has been created?
Yes, I don't want it. There was even at a point, there was a drama between the federal government, Ondo State government, and Ogun State government on the Olokola free trade zone. So I want the Akeredolu government to see this through to a logical conclusion.
U.S. other Western powers to monitor polls with satellites. Okay, they're going to be beaming their eyes.
Beaming in Maduguri. Beaming in Maduguri.
Not just in Maduguri, all over the country.
You see, I think beyond always wanting to monitor election, I think all these foreign bodies should invest in education, really. Let the people know that, for example, there's no reason why you should die in an election. Let me cite an example. I'm doing an article for an international organization, and I titled it, I think, let me spill it. I titled it, Learning from Sowore, the wisest political family in Nigeria. Now, Sowore is contesting as the president of the nation under AAC. He has a younger brother who is in PDP, who is a shifted in PDP. He has another younger brother who is currently an assistant to the governor of Ondo State on new media. And these guys are not killing themselves. At the end of the day, if APC wins, everybody...
So if a family can belong, members of a family can belong to different political parties.
So why should I hate you, sir? Because you belong to another.
Good point.
All right,
and the ASU false FG on 163 billion naira berates councils and VCs. Of course, ASU's been saying the government has not released any 163 billion naira to them. Moving on.
We just hope that ends, very soon, as they have said. Well, let's take a look at the This Day newspaper. The This Day, of course, says NGC members summon emergency meeting without Anohen Muhammad. Senate caucuses meet today ahead of emergency sitting. NBA judicial workers summon emergency meetings. Third force mobilizes for mass action.
Is there a third force?
Well, that's the one led by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, if you
remember. Is that the third force?
Okay. Let's
All right, very quickly now. While uncertainties over general election constraining businesses, of course, if there is no stability in a nation,
nothing can happen.
It affects almost every sphere.
Yes, and I think we should also, the mistake we've made over time is that we've built our businesses around politics and politicians. So I think it's about time for us to actually divorce our business from... There's not how we want to do it. Like NSC, for example, is going to respond either positive or negative to any election or even the utterance of the president. But I'm talking about some of the businesses here and there that we can actually totally divorce.
Yeah, but don't you think it's because governance is not facing its business while, allow people to, just go about their businesses within a safe, secure environment?
Yes,
maybe that's why.
And apart from that, I think government deliberately are attaching whatever gesture they are giving to the people to politics. For example, if I want to get loan from any of some of these banks, the major constraint will be, do you belong to one political party? I don't know whether that's the happen, but it happened well on the PDP. Even some interventions of government, you can't get access to them because you do not belong to a certain political party. And I think a lot of us are also, a lot of people are also expecting political money. And the calculation has been by January, there will be political money. And the way it is now, political money is not coming out. So I think that's also having some effect.
Didn't know there was something known as
and the Nigerian stock exchange as well. And the Nigerian stock exchange as well. This is another very important story. We must take a look at it. I will personally handle presidential election results collation. That's coming from the INEC team leader Yakubu.
Yes, that's necessary and compulsory. If he doesn't do that, then I doubt what he will be doing. Because either we like it or not today, the noise we are hearing is not even about the governorship election in Lagos, not the governorship, not even the senatorial election somewhere in Zamfara. It is this presidency. And everybody is actually concentrating on it because that's where the fortune of the nation lies. For example, if we have a disruptive thinker, for example, everything will naturally align. And that's why the presidential, because the most powerful president on earth is the Nigerian president. Everything
Really?
seems to, yes, everything seems
Some
to
would
revolve
argue
around
that.
him.
Okay, well, I get your point. Dr. John, thank you very much, communication and leadership expert.